The GPS said we'd arrived, but there was nothing there. Just an empty stretch of cracked road disappearing into thick fog. No signs, no houses, no sounds, just silence. The map on my phone showed a bright blue dot pulsing in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by gray nothingness. I leaned forward, staring out the windshield. "This can't be right," I whispered. From the back seat, my friend Alex laughed nervously. "Maybe it's a glitch, or maybe this is one of those ghost towns people post about online." The car's headlights cut through the mist, revealing only endless asphalt and weeds growing through the cracks. The trees on both sides leaned inward, their branches twisting together like they were trying to block our path. Then the GPS spoke again, but not in the same calm voice it had before. "You've arrived," it said, quieter this time. "Don't leave the vehicle." We froze. Alex leaned forward. Did it just say? Before he could finish, every phone in the car started vibrating. The same coordinates flashed on all our screens, repeating over and over. The numbers didn't make sense. They weren't even real locations. That's when I noticed something moving in the fog, a faint shape just ahead of the car, tall, still, human-like. I turned off the engine. The headlights dimmed, leaving us in the faint glow of the dashboard. The figure didn't move. It just stood there, barely visible through the haze. Alex whispered, "Dude, don't get out." But something about it pulled me. I opened the door slowly, the cold air hitting me like ice water. The ground felt soft beneath my shoes, like damp soil, even though we were standing on pavement. I took a few steps forward. The fog shifted, and the figure became clearer. It looked like a person, but its skin was gray and its head tilted slightly, as if it was listening. I could almost see its mouth moving, but there was no sound. "Hello?" "Okay." For a moment, none of us spoke. The screens on our phones glowed in the dark, showing our frozen faces like reflections in a mirror. Only it wasn't a mirror, because in the image we were smiling. None of us were smiling. "Turn it off," Alex whispered. His voice shook. I dropped my phone onto the floor. The screen didn't crack, but the image stayed lit, my own face still grinning back at me from the carpet. Something scraped along the side of the car slow, deliberate, the sound of metal dragging against glass. Alex grabbed my arm. "Please, just drive. I'm trying." I twisted the key, but the engine gave nothing, not even a click. The dashboard was dead. Then the radio turned on by itself. At first it was just static soft, broken. Then a faint voice bled through. "Don't leave the route." The same flat tone as the GPS, but colder now. Alex covered his ears. "Make it stop!" I slammed the radio off, but the voice kept going, this time through the air vents, whispering softly through the cold breeze. "Stay on the road." The fog thickened, crawling over the hood, wrapping around the mirrors like smoke. I forced myself to open the door again. The night air was heavy and wet, smelling faintly of metal and dirt. I couldn't see the sky anymore, just the white haze swallowing everything. And then I saw them. Hundreds of tire marks stretched across the road, circling, looping back on themselves. They weren't ours. Some were fresh, others cracked and old. But all of them led to the same spot where we were now. The ground trembled softly, like something moving beneath it. I called out, "Hello? Can anyone hear me?" The fog pulsed once, as if it was breathing. Then, from somewhere deep within it, came a faint honk-a-car horn, muffled and distant. Alex's face went pale. "There's someone else out there." I turned toward the sound, squinting. A pair of faint headlights appeared far down. The sound of their footsteps was soft, but everywhere like rain falling in all directions. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the steering wheel. Alex kept whispering, "Start the car, start the car, start the car," over and over, but I couldn't even hear him anymore. The fog pressed against the windows, thick and alive. The shapes were closer now. I could see their faces, or at least where faces should have been. Gray skin, blank eyes, mouths closed, but I could feel something humming in my chest, a vibration that matched their slow, steady steps. Then my phone buzzed again. The GPS had come back to life, but this time It didn't show roads. It showed a single red circle with 3 words above it. You are inside. Inside what? Alex whispered, his voice barely a sound. Before I could answer, the fog around us lit up faintly, not from our headlights, but from somewhere deep beneath the ground. A white-blue glow shimmered through the cracks in the road, running in lines like veins under the asphalt. Alex stared at it. Jake, that's not the road. It's moving. I looked down. The cracks were pulsing the light inside them, shifting rhythmically, like it was breathing. And then the car moved by itself. The steering wheel turned smoothly, slowly, though my hands weren't on it. Stop it! Alex yelled, grabbing it. But it didn't matter, the car kept rolling forward at a steady crawl. Outside, the gray figures began walking beside us in perfect unison, their eyes glowing brighter with every pulse of the ground. The GPS spoke again, in a voice that no longer sounded robotic. It sounded like someone whispering right behind my ear. Destination reached, the fog parted ahead, revealing a clearing. In the center stood an old wooden sign tilted sideways, the paint faded and almost unreadable. I squinted through the windshield. The sign said, "Welcome to Grey Ditch Popula." When I opened my eyes, everything was quiet again. The fog had thinned, but it was still there, hanging low like smoke after a fire. The town looked different now, brighter, cleaner, almost new. Alex was gone. Alex? My voice sounded hollow, like it was being played back through a speaker. I spun around, calling in his name again and again, but the sound didn't travel far, it just disappeared into the fog. Then I heard music. A soft piano melody drifted from somewhere down the street, slow and gentle, like a lullaby. The kind of song you might hear playing in an empty church. I followed the sound past cracked houses that looked freshly painted, through streets that no longer had weeds. The street lamp flickered back to life as I passed it. Everything around me was waking up, just slightly out of sync. Lights switching on a second too late, windows glowing from the inside with faint blue light. The piano stopped. In the silence, I heard a door open behind me. Alex stepped out from one of the houses. He was smiling, too calmly. His clothes were dry, his face clean, like nothing had happened. "Jake," he said softly, "you made it." I froze. "Where were you?" He tilted his head just slightly. I had to check in. I didn't understand. His eyes shimmered faintly with that same blue glow from the windows. "Alex, we have to leave," I said. "This place, it's not real." He laughed quietly. "You still think there's a difference?" Before I could answer, the church bells rang in the distance, deep, heavy, shaking the air. Every window in every house lit up at once, flooding the street with pale light. I shielded my eyes. The light dimmed again, and suddenly the street wasn't empty anymore. Dozens of people stood on both sides, all the gray figures, all staring straight at me. Alex turned toward them and smiled wider. "They've been waiting." My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out. The GPS was open again. It showed a single message at the top of the screen. "New resident, Jake Miller pending." The voice came again, the same calm tone, half digital, half human. "Confirm arrival." Alex stepped closer. "Just say yes," he whispered. "It's easier if you don't fight it." I shook my head, stepping back. "No, I'm not staying here." The ground began to hum. The lights under the road pulsed brighter, lines of blue stretching across the pavement like veins. The people on the sidewalks all turned their heads in unison, following my every move. "Jake," Alex said again, his voice now echoing strangely. "There's nowhere else to go." I ran. The streets twisted around me, looping into themselves. Every turn led back to the same square, the same church, the same flickering street lamp. My lungs burned. My footsteps sounded wrong, hollow, delayed, like they were happening half a second after I moved. The GPS buzzed again, vibrating harder this time. The words on the screen changed. "Final notice. Confirm arrival." "No!" I yelled, throwing the phone onto the road. It cracked but didn't stop glowing. Behind me, Alex's voice called out calm, almost kind. "If you keep running, it'll just make it worse." I turned back, but he wasn't alone anymore. The crowd stood behind him, glowing faintly. Every one of them smiled the same slow, practiced smile. "Please," I whispered, "just let me go." The church bell rang one last time. The phone on the ground blinked twice, then the message changed again. Arrival confirmed. The world around me went white. The hum faded. For a second, I thought it was over. Then I opened my eyes. I was sitting in my car. The fog was gone. The road was clear. Alex sat beside me, calm, scrolling on his phone. He looked up and grinned. "Told you GPS would get us here." The screen on the dashboard lit up. The coordinates flashed once, then the same sentence appeared. In white text, "Welcome to Greatich Population 3. And as I looked at my reflection in the window, I saw my own eyes glowing faint blue. If you thought this story was chilling, the next one makes